Hey,
Hey guys, how are you?
doing great.
What do you got for us today?
I'm just happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you for coming. You got a
Okay.
question
Thanks
for
for
us?
showing up.
No, it was great.
Awesome. Any questions for us to start?
Oh no, I'm just happy to be here with you guys chatting.
Who's that behind you in the picture?
Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang.
Justin's perked his ears up. I can see him on there right now. His
Yep,
boy
I'm from
Crosby.
Pittsburgh, so always repping my guys.
All right.
Very good.
Good.
And are you still in Pittsburgh right now?
No, I'm in Los Angeles now.
Nice. Well, give us a little bit of background on what you got going on.
Sure. So originally from the East Coast, worked in the sports industry for about a decade. I started really young, around 16, 17 years old, working with my favorite athletes, providing social media, marketing, business for them, and then started working with some teams and agencies as well. And then I came out to LA about 5 years ago to work with Robert Downey Jr. I was with him for about a year, then went to Warner Brothers, spent 2 years over there managing their marketing campaigns for TV, film, and catalog. And then ever since then, I've just been independently producing, managing talent, speaking, and consulting. So a little bit of everything.
Dang.
Wow. That's a pretty good portfolio, though.
Thank you, sir.
I think, Brad, listening to you, though, it answers a big question for a lot of young millennial entrepreneurs. They want to know, how do I get in Brad's position? How do you get involved? And they don't attach to the idea. You never set out to work with Robert Downey Jr. or to build. You develop skills. And I know about your background and people that you've worked with, but you focused in on being the best at what you do, which then attracted the highest levels of people to say, hey, I need to work with Brad. And then so many people want to work with you. You start your own company, and then you're able to teach other people. And it's,
100%.
I have a training tomorrow about scalability. And I think you're the exact example of how things scale. And I'll show you real quick, what I
Thank you
see.
so much.
You were someone, when you were younger, you just shadowed, right? You learned from the best, that you said, those first few years. And then you started working with those people, and then they started watching you and guiding you. They were just, this is the mentor down here just watching you, and you're driving the ship. And that's kind of where Blaine is, right? I'm driving the ship, but he's always back here saying, whoa, look out for the iceberg. I've been down this road before, Dave. I know there's an iceberg up here on the left. I don't want you to hit it and pay the dummy tax like I have. And then what's cool is what I see you now is here now, you're down here and you're taking on people and mentoring them, starting to work with them, and the whole cycle of scalability of people, right?
Sure.
Not scaling happens through the transference of knowledge, of us being able to share and to help and to provide service and a value, but also to ask for help. What was the hardest time that you've ever had to ask for help?
Honestly, I don't really struggle with asking for help. I think a lot of people
You're successful.
well, I mean, I understand that I'm good at some things and not good at other things. So if I want things to happen and things to get done, I have to separate myself from ego or fear and let someone who's good at something that I'm not good at come in and win, right? So that could be from a connection standpoint or a knowledge standpoint, or just a support standpoint. So I've been very lucky and very blessed to have some really amazing people around me my entire career so far. And it starts from asking for help and being okay. It's not wrong to ask for help. And I think for young entrepreneurs in general, they need to understand that.
Yeah. And I want to, you said something that was spot on there, Brad. You separate it from your ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ask has to be separate from your ego. If you get your ego wrapped up in it, you're dead in the water.
100%. And I think a lot of people don't want to look weak in a way of like asking for help or, collaborations, or I have to do it all myself. And I would not be here to this day at 31 years old, working with who I've worked with and done what I've done if I didn't ask for help. Like, that's just the reality of it. I was talking about it the other day. People who say they're self-made, you're not. It's just the reality.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
In one of the transferences of knowledge that are interesting, and having Blaine on here is specific, or like a Robert Downey Jr. is, I can't hold a candle. Blaine, I won't mention how many years older that he is, but let's just say that we're 20 years apart, for example, even though I know he looks like he's 3 years older than me. But if we were 20 years apart, And then I have a young entrepreneur like you that we're 20 years apart, right? Right, Brad?
Sure.
Well, you maybe started working, if you're lucky, at 22. I went to graduate school, so I really started at 24. Even though I'm 50, and let's say Blaine's 70 and you're 30, I've only worked, right? I've only worked 26 years. You've only worked 8 years since 22. So, but Blaine's worked from the time he was 24 until the time he was 70, right? 46 years of experience. And if he's done it the right way. Now, what makes it interesting is we were talking about the Reformation, or I call the E-formation.
Information.
And this is a critical point in history, because it's like any type of revolution, an industrial revolution, that everything's affected by it. And now because of COVID, it's affected at an accelerated manner, a compressed manner. Your expertise, although it's only 6 years or 8 years of expertise, right? It's so valuable to take 46 years of expertise of Blaine and 24 years of expertise of mine and allow it to be amplified, perpetuated, and monetized. Without your expertise, we can't. It's like the delivery service. Without Amazon, there's so many businesses that have been around forever that would die if 100%. They weren't able to be delivered, or Uber or other things. Now, where I don't want people to lose insight is that I think that there still is a transfer of knowledge from Blaine to David and Blaine to Brad, meaning that a lot of times people in your position that hold an expertise in the E-formation part forget the value of the actual product that's being delivered, right? The actual ability for Blaine to tell you and I, hey, bozos, you may know all about how to delivering what I do and better than I could ever imagine on this new E-formation universe, but I still know where the icebergs are, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
experience.
He does. And I want to use, the end of this time too, to say, I really appreciate your perspective, because what I hear you saying, unlike a lot of the people that want to be the entrepreneurs and not the Brads of the world, the reason the Brads of the world and even the Gary V's of the world and the guys who help me, and allow me to deliver what I've been doing for 20 some years and Blaine's been doing for 40 some years, literally is the humility to say, hey, I'm really good at what I do, but none of it matters if I don't do it for the guys who know where the icebergs are, the landmines are, 100%. And have paid the dummy tax.
100%.
Where did you get that humility from?
I've never wanted to get stuck in that ego, because that was a big turnoff for me growing up, just being around some people that were just so obnoxious with how great they thought they were, when in reality it wasn't the case, or in whatever sector it may be in. But I care about how I'm perceived. I think we all know that reputation is very important, especially in today's day and age. Warren Buffett said, build 20 years to build a reputation and 10 minutes to ruin it. But now it's 10 seconds with social media. So I think you have to be really smart about how you approach things today, now more than ever. So I don't ever want to come off as someone who is an egomaniac, because that makes me look bad. And nobody wants to work with anybody like that. And at the end of the day, my goal each and every day is to bring as much value as I can to as many people as I can. So it doesn't matter if it's big value or small value. Value is value. So that's my goal when I'm working with Gary and he hits me up and he needs something, whatever you need, man, I'm going to get it done. And that happened recently, so it doesn't matter. I'm just here to make stuff happen and bring value. And it's not about me. At the end of the day, it's about those guys who know where the icebergs are, like you said.
Yeah. And that's why Blaine and I won't lose your cell phone either, because when we need you.
Hey, let's connect.
How you do what you do, man. I don't have a clue, but I do know where the icebergs are.
I know where you live.
Blaine, you got a final question for Brad?
No, it's the idea of positioning, and I really am paying attention to just how you position what you do with folks. And could you talk a little bit about just kind of how that works for you?
Sure. At what capacity are you specifically talking about?
Personal brands?
Well, I'm just thinking about it in terms of just presence. I'll just kind of just generically.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's so many different mediums that can actually take place within. So, yeah, and you work in a specific area, digitally and that sort of thing. So,
Sure. I mean, going back as far as like brand reputation management and just having a presence online, it's really important. Going back to what I said about reputation and just how you're perceived by your community, Gary is very authentic. He's very genuine. He's not playing a character when the camera is rolling. That's who he is. And that's why people either love him or they hate him. Right. And that's how it should be for everybody. And I think being very genuine and authentic when I speak, when I speak specifically about building genuine relationships and how that translates to success in both your personal life and business. And what that means is entering into a relationship with someone genuinely, meaning you're not, hey, David, let's be friends because I'm going to need something from you, give or take 2 months. This is like, I just want to have you in my life. If something happens from that, great. If not, I'm still happy because you're someone I admire and who inspires me. And I'm happy with that. That in itself is the value, the whole gratification that I need. And that's been a purpose that I've had since I was 16 years old, to surround myself with people who I admire and who inspire me, whether they be the athletes I cheer for on Sundays to entrepreneurs and leaders, that I wanted to, call a friend. And that's the genuine, authentic nature of you and your brand. When people follow me on social media and then they meet me in real life, I'm very happy because they always say you're exactly the same.
That's what I look for. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's what I was after. Yeah. Authenticity.
Gary's that way too, right? And from the time
100%.
And I was, one of the few people, I didn't know who he was. My guys said, you got to meet him. And I knew AJ because of the sports agency I was helping out, but I wasn't really, although I very involved as an entrepreneur, no idea because I wasn't on Instagram. I had very few followers.
Yeah.
And when he presented me with the idea that my ideas could be shared in a different medium and that people would resonate with it. And,
100%.
And there you are 3.5 years later, attracting people like you, Brad, into Blaine in my life where, you're an absolute pleasure to meet because I know now where your perspective is being, and Blaine is the king of this, right? It's all about relationships.
It's all about relationships.
100%.
Everything.
And because it's like giving your book, and I'm going to end on this. It's like we had a publisher on earlier. And I said, the best thing I ever do is just give my books away for free because I'm building a relationship with people. And once that relationship, they'll do what they want. They can either ask me for more free books or buy the ebook or audiobook or buy other books that I write or ask me for recommendations for books because they like the book that I have. But that book, when I give it, there's no expectation. I have shifted the paradigm of giving.
100%.
I used to believe, and I used to think this was right. The more that I give, the more that I get. The problem is there's a conditioned judgment, a hook or expectation tied to giving
100%.
you expect to get. When I started saying, look, I'm going to receive as much as I can so I can give it all away, but add value to it when I give it away. Two values that everyone gives. One, your appreciation is value, meaning that if you're grateful for it, that's one. But the other side of appreciation is you add your capabilities to what you've received. Right.
100%.
Now you've increased the appreciation and others can appreciate it more and others, which led me to the mission of empowering over 1 billion people to be happy by bringing or attracting Brad Lambert and Blaine Bartlett into my life. So I think that's a great business to be in. And I'm so glad that you're a catalyst for so many people that know where the icebergs are and you keep us alive. So thank you.
And one thing on that too, David, is like giving is great, but the best part about it that you get every single time guaranteed is happiness. Mm-hmm. You yourself get happiness from giving. And a lot of people overlook that fact so quickly. And, I'm working on a project right now that is the catalyst of this show that I'm producing. Is giving and kindness and happiness.
Let me in, because those who
want to talk with you about that.
Those who witness giving too, right? Nobody thinks about
exactly, and it is a very viral effect.
It's viral,
too, because when 100%. So when people see other people giving and the reactions that come from it, I've always been a guy who's like super extra, loves to surprise people with things and experiences and stuff like that, and I get so much happiness out of that. and I rarely get anything in return, but that's not why I'm doing it.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like
great.
at the end of the day, happiness needs to be the North Star, which is what Gary talks about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if more people gave instead of asking for stuff, the
Yep.
world would be a much, much better and happier place.
Yeah, that's my mission as well. So count me in, my friend.
Well, that's why I respect you.
Thank you.
Give what you have, where you can, where you are.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Brad. We'll have you back on. Let me know how you can help you with the happiness project. That's for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that too. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Great to meet you, Blaine.
Brad Lambert. What a pleasure, man.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, man.